Hi there and welcome to Transcorner Trailer Sales. Today we'll be walking you through your 2024 Intech Dusk. We are just going to start off at the back of the unit. You notice you are pre-wired for an observation camera. If you ever want to get hooked up with that, you can contact our parts department and they can get you set up with a quote. In the back corner here, you're just using that tab, opening this up. It's going to give you access to your hot water heater. It's also where your main power source for your hot water heater is. And you do just have a pressure relief valve down at the bottom here. Whenever you first get to your campsite, you are just going to want to give that guy a pull and just making sure you get that shot of water coming out of there, letting you know that it is full and has water in it. And to your left, you do have your main power supply. Just take a note of that notch there. It lines up with this notch here. You can plug that guy in, give that guy an 1/8 twist, and you have the threaded collar, really lock it down. Following that guy back, you do have your standard 30 amp plug-in. Most campsites should have this, so you can plug right on in. But let's say you have the unit at home on the driveway, or your site only has 15 amp service. We do include a 15 amp park adapter. Just keep it in mind, you're going down to 15 amps of power, so you won't be able to run something like your air conditioner. In this corner, as well as all four corners of the jack, you do have a stable trailer. You do have stabilizer jacks. The way those works is you're going to take a tool in the side compartment, hook it up to that drive nut, run that foot down to the ground. Once the foot contacts the ground, just giving it another 1/8 turn, just snug it up, and that's going to take any bounce or sway you see we have in the unit right now away. A little further ahead, you do have your main sewer outlet. The way that works is you're just taking that cap, twisting it off. These two ears here, they're going to be the same ears that your sewer hose has. You just line up with this notch here. You're just lining those guys up, twisting that into place, and it locks in. You got your black valve, and you'll have a gray valve. Your black valve is going to be your dirtiest water filled from your toilets. So you're always going to want to empty that first, and then you can come behind that with your gray valve, which is typically a little cleaner water, which is filled from your sink and your showers. You do have a sewer hose holder in here. It holds a 15-foot sewer hose, but we include a 20-foot sewer hose with the unit, so it doesn't fit inside this holder. Take a note of this silver plate here. Whenever your furnace is running, this is going to be dispersing hot air, so just be mindful of that. And you do have a solar plug-in right here. So if you have a portable solar panel, you can plug it into the side here, and that's just going to charge your batteries whenever the sun is out. At the front, you do have your tongue jack. One way is up, the other way is down, and you do have a little light up front. And then right behind this cover here, just pulling those pins out of the way. That's going to allow you to take this front cover off, gives you access to your propane tanks. Those work like any home style propane tank. You're just taking this knob, opening it up. That's going to open the flow of propane to the unit. And then back at the back here, one thing I forgot to show you is just your water station. Just taking that knob, twisting that, opening that up. You got your city water connection as well as your fresh water tank fill. Filling this to the side here is going to fill your fresh tank. That's what your water pump draws off of. Let's say you're at a site with sewers, so you can thread a garden hose in there, turn that water hose on. It's going to pressurize all your lines without the needing to run your water tank. This side of the trailer, you do have two 110 plug-ins. And then inside this compartment here, you're just twisting that up, opening that up. You got that 20-foot sewer hose I told you about. It comes with a 20-foot water hose, as well as a 15 amp park adapter. Notice this little threaded here. This is just for water. If you thread a garden hose in there, there's a little valve right behind there. You can just turn that valve, and it's going to open the flow of water to the unit whenever you're either have your city water on or your water pump running. Inside this compartment here, your outdoor kitchen setup. Just taking this safety latch, pushing that up, or pushing it down, will unlock the tray and allow it to slide out. You do have your little Dometic portable cooler. This cooler can pop right out of its thing here, and it does have a battery pack in it, so it will run a little bit of time whenever it isn't plugged in. It can be plugged in either through 12 volt or 120 volt. Power controls for that are just right on the back here. You're just pushing this power button. It's going to turn itself on. You can change the temperature inside. And this can open from either way, as well as come right off. And then you do have your little propane griddle. The way that works is you got this little propane line that runs up in the back of the compartment here. You're just gonna run that guy down, loop it around to the quick connect down at the bottom here. The way that works is just like an air line. You're gonna pull that coupler back, push the line in, and that's gonna lock it into place. Then you can open up that valve, opening up the flow of propane, and then you just go into your griddle, pushing that knob in, letting it prime for a second, and then hitting that lighter. And it fires right on up. Whenever you're done, making sure you close that flow of propane before you turn it off. Unlocking that connector, folding that hose back into the compartment, putting that dust cap back on, locking up the cooler. And you can shove this back inside the unit, just always making sure that you do unlock it with this little red button down here. And you just have it unlock it. It's in, locks into place. To get inside the unit, you can just go down one step by just grabbing and pulling. You can open up your door. First thing you notice right on your left is just a fire extinguisher. That's going to be simple, just like home. Put a pin in two. And then you do just have all your lights on your left there. Taking a step on inside. You also have a kitchen accent light, which is right on the wall. That awning, you're pushing that button down. That awning's going to start making it, folding its way out. Fortunately, we're not going to be able to get all the way out today, but I will be able to show you how it works. So let's say that were to be out all the way, you can take these arms and you're just kind of unlocking them from this little spot here. You're just pulling them back, folding it out, and then it'll twist. And then you got this thing here that once you are locked into place, you can put that down on the ground, lock it into place. And then it'll hold its own. And then to bring it back inside, you are just allowing that guy to then fold down, taking your leg, swinging it back up, pushing that guy all the way in. And then you're just opposite of the way you got it out and pushing that back in, and it locks back into place. And then you'd be able to bring it in, just that switch on the wall again, hitting it the opposite way. And it'll start making its way in. Once you are inside the unit, all the blinds in the unit do work the same way. They just kind of sit where you leave them. You pull them down, and when they stop, that's when they'll lock, and then you just pull it once to unlock them. On this wall here, you do have 2 USB plugins, as well as a couple regular plugins, and then you have your battery disconnect. Whenever that battery disconnect switches off, the batteries are disconnected. Whenever the battery disconnect switches on, the batteries are connected. You got your breaker circuit panel in here, folding that guy down. You'll have all your fuses. Whenever a fuse pops, you'll have a little red indicator light telling you which one's popped. Whenever a breaker trips, it'll sit in the middle, so you do just have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. You got your microwave just overhead. That's just like home, not much I'm going to show you there. And then you got your water heater system. So for this to be able to turn on, you do have to have that main power switch on the outside. Then you just hit that button on. You got your current output temp, and then you can adjust to what your set temp is. And once you turn that hot water on, this will change its screen and it'll adjust to the temperature you have set. Then to turn it off, you're just pushing that button again. Then you got your monitor panel system. So you got your battery, which goes 11.2, 11.7, and then 12.3, which would be fully charged. And then you got your fresh, your black, and your gray, which goes full, 2/3, and 1/3, and then empty. And then you have your water pump switch, turning that on, draws from your fresh tank with your water pump, and then you do just have your tank heater and your line heaters. Just keeping in mind that it is for more extended camping season, maybe -5 at the most. Any colder than that, you wouldn't want to be running your water system, and you're also going to have to be running your heat while you do so, just so you don't freeze anything. You got your fridge, which is 12 volt. Right below that is just your main furnace output. Whenever the furnace is running, it's going to be dispersing all its air right from there. Speaking of that, the stove and the furnace both run off propane. You do have an LP detector right down here. If this guy ever starts going off, you are just going to want to turn off the main supply of propane at the front of the unit and just open up some windows to air it out a little bit. To get your stove running, you are just going to turn those knobs over to light, hit that sparker, and it fires right on up. To get this glass cover to fold back, you do have to pull it up and fold back. If you do just try and pull back without pulling up, it's not going to want to close, and you do run the risk of breaking it. So just making sure that you pull up while you close it. You got your sink with hot and cold water, lots of storage, as well as some storage inside here. Inside this compartment here is just your bathroom as well as your shower. Hot and cold water there with your toilet. The light switch for that is just on the wall here. You do have a fan in there overhead as well. The way that works is you're just taking that knob, pushing that fan up, turning that on. Just be mindful whenever it is raining, whenever you have this vent lid open, it is going to let rain inside. We do sell max air covers that you can install over these, so you can run these all the time, whether it's raining or not, and you can also leave them open while you're traveling. You can contact our parts department if you'd like to get a quote for us to install one of those. Then you do have a max air fan right above your head here, which the control for that is just on the wall here. So you got your vent open button, you're pushing that button, and it's going to open up your vent. And then the switch to turn the fan on is right next to that. Hitting that button is going to turn that fan on. It's going to turn it on its lowest setting. There is 4 settings. And then the off button for that is just down below, and hitting that off button will automatically close that vent lid. Right next to the vent lid switch, you do have your thermostat. That works pretty simple. You're hitting that button once, and it's just going to illuminate the screen. Hitting it again is going to turn you into fan low. Now at this point, that is only moving air with the air conditioner. No heating or cooling involved. Hitting that button one more time goes into fan high. Same thing, just on a high fan. Now you get into cool high, so now the actual air conditioner comes into effect. And it's running the air conditioner full time on a high fan. One more button and you get into low. Same thing, but on a low fan. And then you get auto, cool, low, auto. So now it becomes an on-demand system. The air conditioner will kick in and out as needed, depending on the temperature that the thermostat senses. Same thing, but on high fan. And then you get into the furnace, and then off. Some storage inside here. You got your fire exit. That's going to work pretty simple. You're just going to pull this little red tab, take your handle. The screen's going to pop right out. Push, and you can hop right on out. You do have blue accent lighting throughout the unit. You do also have controls for the bedroom lights inside the bedroom here on the wall. You got some reading lights, which are blue and clear as well. Some USB charging ports with a nice little phone holder stand. And then you got your bed area. These cushions are memory foam. To get that into a bed, you are just taking these pre-made panels, lifting these cushions up a little bit will allow you to see those slots for it to pop into. And then you got the same slots on the other side. And you got 2 sets of slots, and then you would just take your 2 back cushions, fill in the center. Another thing I'm going to show you is you're just going to slide this cushion out of the way here. as well as this cushion. And you're gonna see we do have a little white trap door. Opening this guy up is gonna give you access to some bypass valves. So these valves here are going to be for draining your hot water system. These two here, this one's going to be for the hot line, this one's going to be for the cold line. Then you got your winter bypass tube. So if you're to hook up that pail of coolant, you're just turning that valve like so. It's going to allow the pump to suck out of this tube here. To drain the fresh tank, you are just turning this valve here, and it will start draining that fresh tank. To get the water to flow into that fresh tank line, you do just have this valve here. So whenever you are doing winterization, you can turn this valve. It's going to isolate the tank off. Turn this valve to open up your coolant line. And then you have this valve for draining, but you do also have to make sure you turn this valve back on to allow the water to start flowing again. That's going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.